Last two slides. Come on, Mr. Reed. Don't you know what button to push? It's these last two slides we're going to want. On your slide, not only do you have this session ID, let me just take a quick look at that. Good. So you have this session ID, which is a very important piece of information that we have to fill out, but also your name is right here. We'll only use your first name, but the reason I went ahead and put your name, the place I got it, that's what was there. So I just, that way you know for sure that the session ID that is there is your, it's your state testing ID, not your Columbus City Schools ID. So if we look at this, this is the very last slide, and you're the only class that I finally had time to make this for. You want to let that amazing Angelina in. But this is what we're about to do. You can click on this right here. It's the only thing that's actually a link on this particular slide. It's the same link as what, whoops, is right here, whichever way you want to go about it. But this kind of walks us through it. Once you get to this Ohio portal, cambiummast.com, you're going to see a screen that along the bottom has these links, and you're going to click on this Restart Readiness Assessments link. That's what the name of this assessment is, Restart Readiness. There's a bunch of assessments. We're doing the Algebra 1 assessment in there. And then after you click on that link, you're going to see more than just what's in this picture, but this picture is trying to point out that there's a big bar or banner, kind of, I tend to think it's a little bit in the middle of the page when I pull it up. I'll show it to you in just a minute. You click in that, and once you click that, then you get to this page where you'll actually enter your information, and this is the information. Only your first name, that special state testing ID, and the session ID. That's the information that I have for you right here. Okay, your state testing ID, the session ID are both right there. And as I've been telling people, look at your name here on this slide. Make sure you use that first name, your full first name. Like if your name's Tim, I'm sorry, if your name's Timothy, don't type in Tim because it won't recognize you. It wants to know whatever your name is in our computer system. And so once you get that information, your first name, your state testing ID, and the session ID in here, you'll be able to click sign in, and then you'll have to wait for me to approve you. So that information is right here. You're going to go down the left column and then down the right column if you need a little reminder what the heck's going on. You can follow the link here or follow the link right here to get yourself started. And do we have any questions at the moment? I know, Jalea, me too, girl. Just ruined my whole day. I don't know if you're talking about the fact that I'm sharing this crazy, we get to do a benchmark test thing or not, but yes. And who said that? Yeah, Julia, why do we still have to take tests? I am on your side 100%. Hey, Gadisa, thanks so much, man. Totally on your side about that. But as I said, I'm just trying to do what the higher ups are telling me I have to do. Damon, thanks. I'm liking that. Like to see that. And yeah, Julia, I understand why you're irritated. Here's the nice thing. All right, this is nice and bad all at once. So we're putting a solid pause on our hard work in our math class for the moment because we're doing this instead. So you can try and look at that as the good news of this. Oh, you mean we don't have to think about that getting fractions out of equation stuff anymore? That's awesome. And so we can put a pause on that and just do this test. And not a single class has even gotten halfway through this test today. So we'll at least need Monday to work on it and possibly Tuesday. So it could mean that we're paused pretty much until we come back from break. So we'll see, but that's kind of what's going on. Now, don't get yourself all worked up, and you can use a calculator on this test for sure. Okay, so whatever calculator you want to use, even if it's an online normal calculator, not an online cheating, find the answer for me calculator, just an online scientific calculator or even a graphing calculator would be okay. But don't try and use the web to come up with answers to something you know nothing about. Just let the test show what you happen to know right now, and hopefully by the time you take this test again, you'll know quite a bit more. All right, I see at least one of you is already waiting for approval, so that's great. Does anybody have a question about how in the world to get into this test?
Me. I went to that link and there's like a lot of options. Where do I click?
I can't tell who's talking to me. Was that Anusha maybe?
No
I think
phone
it's
stuff.
fun stuff.
Oh, Funstock. Sorry, Funstock. Uh, so when you click on this link, here's what should happen. You should see this page.
Yes.
And then when you get to this page, you got to go down to the bottom and you got these 4 links. And then we're going to click on this one. And then when you get to this page, it's when it comes up on my screen, you can see it's kind of in the middle of the screen, this student testing site link. I click on that, and here's where I'm going to start entering my information. Did that help at all, Funstock?
Yes.
Oh, good. I like it when I can provide help without being too confusing. I am going to create breakout rooms, and actually I think that would be a better place for all of us to be so we're not distracted. And if you need to talk to me or Mr. Blake, we can without distracting other people. But do we have any other questions right now? I've approved 2 of you to go ahead and start this nice little assessment. Again, don't get yourself worked up about it. It's an assessment that's required by the district, and we want to do as well as we can, but it's not going to hurt anything. If I've been told by more than one student today, Mr. Reed, I haven't known any of those questions yet. If that's the case, it's all right. If you're reading a question and you're like, I do not have any idea, then try and get some sort of idea and take an educated guess, but don't get upset about it and don't spend your life working on it, okay? Gadisa, it's in our slides. You have to go to your slides because there are 2 pieces of important information. You have to have this state testing ID, which I've placed in your slide stack, only yours, and this session ID information, both you need. So if you go to your slides, then that should work. Any other questions, guys? Yep, Julia, you're right. Some of us will have a lot of trouble focusing. The good thing is we're starting it today, and we got at least 1 more day, if not 2 more days. The student ID is the ID number that I have put right here below where it says SSID, and in parentheses I said ID for test. This is the ID number that we have to use for the test. The state just knows you by your state testing ID number. They have no idea. And I'm saying state, the state doesn't really care what you do with this. They've just made it available to the schools to use, but because it's on the Ohio Department of Education website, it uses the ID number they know you by. Okay.
My computer is broke again.
Ah.
And I'm in the test and like it's telling me to sign up.
Well, it's all right. If you sign out and restart your computer and then go through the same process of logging in, you'll be able to get back to where you were with the same test. It won't hurt anything.
Okay.
All right. So if you got to restart it, that's fine. You're welcome to leave. Whatever you need to do, we'll let you back in. Sorry, Funstock. Technology has been my enemy more this week than it has most weeks. All right. Let's see. We got 3 more people awaiting approval. So I'll go ahead and keep doing this. Anybody else need to have anything clarified? All right. We're doing our best, but we're not getting worked up. Somehow we got to balance that. And sometimes that's hard to balance. And starting this on the end of the day, Friday, is also crazy, I know. So maybe we'll all be a little more refreshed when we come back to it Monday. Hang in there. I'm going to give everybody breakout rooms, and please accept the invite today.